in 1985, my family moved in this house in the late 70s. So my first memories in this house was with my nana, and then my poppy, he died when I was 5. And I remember that. I remember being, Easter here. So my earliest memories would be, from my first memories, 3 years old. At the beginning, it was Nana's house. All my family was here. Everybody, a lot of my family is no longer with us. But everybody lived here, and this was like the one place that was a foundation. No matter if you was right, if you was wrong, what you were going through in life, it was somewhere you could lay your head, and there was no judgment. So everybody lived here through my family. We all have a story here.
If these walls could talk, what would they say about you?
Honestly, there's two sides of that. There's a side that's growing up being a kid where you're innocent and you're playing, you're at your nana's house. And then, I became a teenager, and I was exposed to different things at this house. And then just my lifestyle decisions, being a teenager and the path I chose to go. I was in the streets, and I did a lot of wrong here as a teenager. So that's another, part of the whole situation, where at the beginning you're innocent, you're a kid, you grow up, you're at Nana's house, then you get older, Nana goes to a nursing home, and you're in this house, and you're 18 years old, and I dropped out of school at a young age. I left home at a young age, and this house had my cousins and my friends and stuff in it, and it was a swinging door. As far as a turning point in my lifestyle and my decisions was my daughter. When my daughter was born, everything that I gained the wrong way, right before she was born, when my wife was pregnant, I had a situation, and I actually lost everything that I gained in the streets, all in one shot. The same way, kind of how I lost this house all in one shot. So I've taken losses. So when my daughter was born and I seen my daughter, I knew I needed to change my path. And I've always been a hustler, so I looked at real estate and looked at the numbers, and I looked at fixing something and selling it the same way I used to do with cars. So the turning point really was when I jumped into real estate and prospered. I went back to this house and I fixed all the wrongs I did, because, I know my nana passed away in 2010, and she was in a nursing home for years before that, so she didn't see this house. But when she passed away, and just knowing what I was doing at this house and the things that was going on here wasn't right. I wasn't proud of them, and I knew if she knew what I was doing, she wouldn't like it. So when I became successful in the real estate, I went back and I saved my nana's house, and I rehabbed this whole house like it was like I was moving in it. I put granite, I put nice flooring throughout it. I mean, I redid everything, and it was one of the proudest moments of my life besides having my daughter. This the second most proudest moment of my life was that.
And what sacrifices did you make that people don't see?
I think that most important sacrifices in life people don't see, and I've said before, if you take care of what people don't see, what people can't see will prosper. So it's the same thing when I say people can't see your credit, people can't see your bank accounts, people can't see how you are with your family behind closed door. That's what people can't see. So the sacrifices, what people can't see, is them late nights, them, telling myself it's gonna be okay when I have no plan for it to be okay. Not being selfish when it comes to decisions I make with my family, because things that I can do are gonna jeopardize my family. And people don't see, the pain or the tears or the struggle, because that's something you hide behind closed doors. So the struggle is what people can't see, because people don't show their struggle, in this life. You got the internet and everything, it has filters. So people filter their life And that's kind of why I'm here now. I'm trying to kind of show my story of what's going on here, because this is the sacrifices that most people haven't seen. This ain't the first time my life's burnt down and I built it back. So the sacrifice is what people can't see. That's pretty much what I'm showing you now.
Where were you when you found out the house was on fire?
I was at my house. I was in my garage. I had my garage with a car collection, and I was taking some pictures of this Camaro I just bought, and you know, it was a great time because I just got a new car. We're taking pictures. You know, I'm excited, and that's where I was at when I got the phone call.
After everything you've been through, how did it feel seeing the house like that again?
You know, it was definitely crushing, because it's like, you know, you build it up to get broken down, to build it up to get broken down. I've been through so much different pain in this house throughout my life, with the same type of situations but different circumstances, that it's almost like it's supposed to happen, as sad as that sounds. Some people have bad luck, some people have good luck. I've been blessed and I don't think I have bad luck, but I've had a lot of bad luck here. And it's almost like a challenge is this gonna beat you? You know what I mean? Sometimes where you come from and what you've been through, you know, sometimes they say you gotta leave, but I don't leave, I keep going. You know, my Nana, she's seen, there's no way, I know she's watching. I think people give up, you know. I think people stop right before they win. And I look at life as a game, and I feel like sometimes the other team scores. Sometimes you're down by a few points, you know, and if you quit, the game ain't over till you die. And I don't think a lot of people have ever seen death or really felt death. And until you understand death, you won't understand life. And once you understand death, you realize that whatever they throw at you, you're going to make it through. You know, I learned at a young age also, you take your wounds like a man. So when you get in a fight, if you win or lose, you take your wounds like a man. And, you know, you get in trouble and you got to go to jail, you take your time like a man, because time's going to go by and wounds are going to heal. You know, so that's how I was raised.
So what does this house represent to you now?
This house represents, you know, overcoming things. You know what I mean? I've overcame so many different things here, and it's almost like, you know, you go to the gym and you put weights on and the heavier the weight, the stronger you get. And I know God's just trying to make me stronger, so this house represents strength to me. It represents overcoming. A lot of people look at me for strength because I put myself out there as motivation. I tell people don't give up. You know, I have friends going through some of the worst things in life when it comes to health, and I tell them don't give up. So when materialistic things hit me like this, what do I look like putting my head down when they looked at me for strength? So that's what this is. I want my story to represent never to give up. That, you know, even the people that are shining the brightest go through struggles. And unfortunately, this house that meant so much to me, I didn't have insurance. I self-insured this house. So these losses I got to take to the chin. But when I tell people save your money so it can save you, I practice what I preached. And I'm in the situation where during bad times, I'm going to weather the storm because I put myself in that situation to be able to. So, you know, a lot of people say, oh, you're a fool for not having insurance. I think they're a fool for not saving their money to be able to insure their life, the things that happen to them. It don't matter how many times you get knocked down, you keep going. And it's such a cliche to say that because, you know, everybody talks about it and everybody says that. But it's a whole different thing when you walk it. A lot of people say that they're strong until it comes time to lift the weight. So death is real, life is easy. You know what I mean? Life, this is life. What's hard is what you don't know. I know how this works. I know how this could be fixed. You know, and if it ain't death, it don't kill me.